Hello everyone, this is Greyshot 170 here, bringing you a Company of Heroes 2 replay while I'm moving my mic. That is brought to you by myself. Technically, my brother really wanted this, but, you know. In any case, I'm gonna leave the chat open as we see, well, essentially just, what's gonna happen. So anyway, this is a 4v4 map on the Lorch Assault. I don't like this map particularly, but I find it interesting nonetheless. There's the city in the middle, you have the more open area, you have the castle, which is really cool, and then like this long corridor type environment, which is literally turns into essentially one person capping this area and holding it down along with the castle. Yeah, so this started happening at the beginning of our game. And we're 2 Vermont and 2 OKW versus 2 British and 2 Americans, right? Yeah. So this is what we start dealing with, and it's like I don't know what to say. It's like under this I just don't know what to say. Because usually it's like, good luck, have fun. No, in this case it's like not. But that's not the main reason why I save this game. Oh no, trust me, you guys are going to enjoy what BS occurrence happens a little bit later. So of course, 151, as shown here, is pushing up his Stern Pioneers to heavy cover, trying to hold back and to capture this munitions point. Wait, no. Was that me? No, Red Man. Why did it not show Red Man? I clicked on the unit and said 151. That's weird. Anyway, so Red Man's there. My apologies. My brother's in the north. I am in the middle. Right here, I'm orange. And down south in the red is Tank Killer, who's again trying to fortify this sector and also again would try to move up to the castle area. So in here we have 1, 2, 3 players all pushing up for this point. So I, of course, grab this point over here, and then I'm going to get behind this heavy cover. Try to hold this point as much as possible, because, again, this cover is way better than, of course, any normal cover or even medium cover that the enemy will try to attack us from. Remember that this cover is very, very good at just helping hold back the enemy. So, of course, I'm going to put my troops behind here. I'm going to move them so they keep firing at the enemy. But as long as we keep holding them back here and keep causing pressure, that's fine. But as you can see, they are going heavy frontline infantry with infantry section and riflemen especially trying to push us back, and technically they have the advantage because those are more powerful infantry, especially if they get themselves in heavier covers, which is why we have a very hard time pushing up. So on the left side here, my brother's going to hold the north. He has an MG that's currently guarding his flank, and up north he's kind of pushing up, and unfortunately infantry section behind heavy cover. Pioneers really don't stand a chance, so yeah, he's going to be torn apart. So once again, more troops coming in. I'm again moving behind. I'm behind heavy cover, helping as much as I can. But as you can see, they're rifle spamming. They have a lot of different troops. Luckily, Tank Killer not only takes the castle, but he does a really nice flank on these troops. So while they're building this, he's gonna cause a lot of damage here and cause a nice flank. I like how he's like storming out of the castle on this little tiny just bridge. And essentially this bridge is great because it is heavy cover, even though it's straight through here, maybe not so, but fighting along this way, it will at least provide some cover and stop them from pushing up. Now, the nice thing also is you can Panzerfaust this thing and neutralize this MG point, which if he does so will negate any MG fire this direction, which will allow us to push up. Also over here, I moved up my Stern Pioneers, going to put some mines and capture that point, and I will have the advantage. Unfortunately, a nice Panzerfaust kills it, but a grenade from it really damages Grenadiers. Excuse me. So unfortunately, Tank Killer's troops are very, very, well, weakened. Luckily, again, his Pioneers are blocking this point, and he did manage to take this sector down south and make sure they couldn't get close to it, or at least capture it. So I'm gonna move up, try to hold this point. Stern Pioneers along this area, putting more mines just in case of a nice blob. Now you may be asking yourself, hey Greyshot, where are the mortars from? That's from the 1-2 mortar encampments. So yes, the British player went heavy mortar encampment. And for those who don't know, mortars spam is, just really annoying. Also, we can see here riflemen put down some mines. They have those abilities if you have the right doctrine. So let's see what doctrines they have at this moment. We currently have the Vanguard operations, great for the forward logistics. Again, you get commandos, strafing supports, great for air support, and crocodile infantry alive. Special weapons hunter, again, like the crocodile, very good. Hold the line's great for just, again, holding against a large assault. And also tank hunters along with the resupply hatchback give pretty much infantry section and pretty much all other units around the area very good weapons. So really you haven't seen these guys do anything yet. I think actually those could be British mines. Like, maybe I'm wrong about that. A nice mine hurts a few of their units, so at least I'll hold that. Plus I have my guys in there so they don't put an MG in that building. And now of course we have not one, not two, but 3 mortars. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have 3 mortars. Luckily, unfortunately, this guy appears placing mines and does have minesweepers, so my brother will have difficulties. He can't lay mines, otherwise they will be detected, which is an issue. They're still holding the north, but at least on the good side, he's rapidly gaining more forces and gaining more men so he can take back the north. Plus, he's getting himself a mortar and another MG so we can hold that sector. Luckily, of course, we are causing a lot of havoc over here. And we are still, like, trying to push up and take this point. They do have another point, but the mortar spam is unreal. You can see all the grenades going, and of course that unit's going to die. We tried a nice flame barrage, again, trying to cook that thing, but of course, Redman did lose a unit from that, so that is a negative thing. But that is a blob we're currently facing, and it's something a lot of people face. And the best way to fight this is just, well, running for the hills, or getting your an MG from your ally. That's exactly what my brother does. We ask him for an MG42, which of course he gets, but unfortunately they get behind the heavy cover, and also fire a smoke grenade so he can't see. Throws a random grenade, almost squad wipes it, low health, but losing them man. Luckily infiltration grenades, thank you, also, again, thank you Redman, and that pushes back his large rifleman spam. In the meantime, I do get a support gun, try to help out. This MG is now finally upgraded and slowly will push back those men or suppress them. Either way, luckily my support gun will also assist, hurts them and pushes them back, which is great. At least that stopped a major assault that could have broke us. Fires another smoke grenade, allows him to escape. My brother is now refocusing in the north, preparing an assault and has an MG guarding his flank. Very nice. Unfortunately, this guy is preparing a large assault and does have at least a good fallback point. I like this position, I really do. It's not too far forward, but you can still put enough mortars and stuff in this general vicinity that's close enough to the front line, but still obscured enough so you can't have direct AT fire, which is something I think I complained about in my last replay about why didn't you do that in the first place. Now we are getting support guns again. I am getting 2, because again, there is not 1, not 2, but 3 mortars, and I hate to break it to you, but I hate mortar spam, and this is the definition of mortar spam. And these guys are most likely cooperating. We can see here that, again, while this guy's focusing on, again, these fortifications, along with a Beaufort, which is in a very, very bad spot for us. We can see here also one of us, of course Redman, with special operations flares, so we now see this. Focus fire, make sure we kill that, otherwise a Beaufort would be bad. Yeah, they complained about our support guns. I reiterated by the mortar spam, and of course they're like, thanks. So I'm like, god dang you. So yeah, so at least the support guns did exactly what we needed them to do. Explosive rounds did enough to push back that. Unfortunately, they have Vickers in heavy cover, which will of course stop this blob. But we still have mines and still can retake this area, so Redman will hold that point. Plus he still has infiltration grenades, so if they all bundle up here, he can do a lot of damage. They move their Beauforts back, but they're still trying to put one down, which is again a bad thing for us. They're equipping their men with Piats, which is funny how they got that upgrade for their men and also the squad size, but they only have 2 men, or squads of infantry. That's how much he's relying on those fortifications. Brother's moving up, and as you can see, he got a flame half-track to deal with those trenches and other things, so that's pretty good for him. For me, as you can see, I am just trying to upgrade, getting another truck. I'm putting it here because, again, this heavy cover will help me in case of AT fire. Also, if they try to push up, there's that negative cover, so they will be hit pretty hard. Even if they try to put stuff behind that green cover right there, my men is right there, so you can hopefully push them back. I put my men, Sturm Pioneers and all, which behind heavy cover will pretty much do a lot of damage against these guys, as you can see. Support gun still firing, moving because they throw a grenade. Try to get them out of there. Retreat 1 unit, move them back in. Support gun does a little bit more damage. MG's up, suppressing them, and they fall back before, of course, they get suppressed, but nice. But the support guns at least do some damage. Now, here's the thing. We have 3 support guns. They have 3 mortar encampments. So, I mean, really? they can't really complain at this point. Right now, though, one hidden benefactor from this is Tank Killer not only fortified this area, but as you can see, he's preparing a decent assault. He has multiple grenadiers coming in for the flank, and right now they're all stationed in the middle and trying their best to just break us. They want to hold that position and just tear us apart. But luckily, Tank Killer's coming in and going to cause a little bit of ruckus behind their lines. Now, of course, I forgot to mention their names. So we have Lucinio, whatever, Britboy, and R4. I'll call you Am. Well, anyway, Britboy's fortifications are causing a lot of havoc. Tank Killer can't necessarily take those on, but what he can do is hit Am's ambulance, which is currently, hiding over here. Also causing damage against our infantry. Maybe decap this point, do a little bit of damage, but unfortunately, as you can see, the infantry are swarming in, so he has to get out of there immediately. So what's his objective? Very simple. Go for the ambulance, because again, this is the only target you can really do a lot of damage to. He's going to Panzerfaust this thing, kill the ambulance, which again makes, unfortunately, this guy have to waste either more manpower and fuel to get another one back, which allows us a little bit more time to hammer them before they set up another forward retreat point, which would be very bad for us, as I don't have a Stuka, nor do I really have the capacity to get one at the current moment. Again, I would need another supply truck that's 50 fuel with 200 manpower, and then setting it up, which is another 200 fuel and 50 to 55 manpower. So right now my goal is to set up a Panzer IV. My brother is, of course, holding north. He fortunately got pushed back by the Piat spam. This guy's, once again, more mortars. Because, again, mortar spam is king, apparently, for these guys. Don't know why that's the case, but apparently they really, really like that. And as you can see, those mortars are causing damage. They took on my brother's mortar and are easily killing this MG placement. So that is a major issue. My brother has an AT gun to make sure they don't send a Centaur, but like I said, the biggest issue is the mortars. Brother's moving up infantry to counteract that infantry, but as you can see over here, they are pushing up with a lot of men. They are retreating, though. We were able to hold them back. But like I said, our main objective is to start beating them back. Luckily, Tank Killer's offensive did rival them. Tank Killer does have a nice MG. I like this placement right behind this fence. Luckily, it's far enough away so they can't easily come around this corner. But it's, again, if they come straight down that road, it can easily be taken out by this MG. So really, really like that. Really do. As you can see, we haven't picked anything, but they have. And as you can see, they're going the Calliope and the Priest, because apparently they like artillery. They really do. So, infantry company is great because of the Priest long-range mechanized artillery. Time on target's pretty good, and the LMGs are great as well. Tactical support's good because of the Calliope, which is very, very powerful. Barrage. Yeah, the P-47 strafing's okay, and the mortar, the half-track transport's okay. The big thing is the LMG, which you can equip your troops with, making very powerful riflemen assault troops against infantry. So anyway, we have 1, 2, 3 support guns? Okay, and then he has 4. So we have 4 support guns right now holding the infantry back here. But remember, guys, they still have 1, 2, 3 mortars. And if they were smart, they would put down the HQ. Should probably look at their ranks, because it is a mixed bag here. None of them too high. We do have one guy, Britboy, but none of them too low either. Anyway, my brother was able to take the north and has been holding that position pretty well. But unfortunately, this guy is playing a counter-assault. However, as you can see, every time he tries to push up a lot of units, the burning half-track moves in. The mortar spam is real, though. Like, he was able to retreat that unit, but, the half-track's doing pretty well for himself as well. But as you can see, the enemy's preparing an offensive up north. This is something we cannot allow. Because, again, if they take the north, that will leave them at a prime advantage to flank our current defensive line. And a flank would pretty much allow us to collapse. And, of course, that is a bad thing. Luckily, my brother put a mine here. Again, this mine, even though they have minesweepers, is designed against anti-vehicle. The mortar does take it out, which is bad. We do have an MG bunker here, which should hold them back. And my brother's moving up to flame to burn out that engineer squad. Again, allowing them to not see any more mines. Unfortunately, a lot of AT forces and bazookas moving up, which is very bad. Luckily, this flame can do at least a little bit of damage while on the retreat. I'm moving up forces to help. But luckily, the MG and my troops coming up, along with my newly released Panzer IV, will push this enemy back. again, they like artillery spam, and they're doing everything possible to emphasize that. However, it's time to take those units out. So anyway, I'm going to move up here along with my Panzer IV, along with backing from my brother, and try to flank them in return. They wanted to take us out. Well, time for us to neutralize their forces. Unfortunately, as you can see, they're going to do a strafing support, which will, again, suppress our right sector, but luckily, again, it won't suppress a tank. Also, we can see here that my brother's half-track will slowly cause a flame barrage of sorts, and will burn this area, which, even though it's hardened, will cause massive damage. So my Panzer IV is going to keep shooting this area. Going to, again, have my Panzer force keep doing damage. Luckily, the half-track was able to knock that out, but their forces do kind of flank our units from behind. Units they head up north kind of flank south. And unfortunately, my brother's 3-star half-track is going to meet his maker from behind. Again, they placed a lot of mines in the area. Unfortunate, but we did manage to kill a very, expensive piece of equipment they had, so that's pretty good. Fortunately, this guy does have a lot of heavy riflemen, again, vetted up, and if he could, he probably would equip them with LMGs. It'd be, more effective against this. Luckily, Redman has some, better units. Redman, I like your run around circles tactic. Again, as you can see here, Redman's currently running around this point. Not sure why. I'm assuming he wants to take out these mortars. Luckily, again, Tank Killer comes up, tries to do another flank, does some, shots on these mortars. Again, trying to neutralize them, because again, this is right now their fallback point, and as much as we want to, we can't really push up all that much, because these mortars just keep hammering us. Luckily, again, the support guns are keeping their infantry back, at least for the time being, and now we have this headquarters truck up, which allows, of course, them to unable to bring up infantry along that point. But the same thing could be said because they have a Vickers over here, which neutralizes any attack we have on them. Luckily, Tank Killer is, of course, on the offensive as well, and firing a Panzerwerfer. This Panzerwerfer is great against, of course, hitting, taking out infantry, and luckily it does a nice barrage over here. They do have a howitzer, and this is something, like I said, I feel like they misinterpreted what they should be doing. Now, unfortunately, over here, they are pushing up. They're trying to move through here, but luckily, Tank Killer's traps, stuff like that, are preventing them from moving up quickly. They could use minesweepers and, take them apart, but, whatever. Oh, can they? Yeah, they can deploy explosives, gets through these obstacles. That being said, one of the things that we are doing is we counter the mortar spam by using it, but they think that adding more artillery is just going to win, while we keep adapting to their tactics. So, again, they think, oh, we're using support guns to counter their mortars? Let's call in, get more howitzers. That's simply not the case. You have to advance your strategy, not continue to use a single tactic. Unfortunately, of course, we have a plane, and they have a Centaur, which is bad, and Centaur is good for infantry, which you can say how you will. I threw a bunch of fire, which causes a bunch of damage. They can retreat through it, whatever. Lots of mortars kill my unit, unfortunately, so that is a negative. But up north, another offensive is going on. So they bring up a Centaur trying to break us apart. My brother, by the way, went close air support. Close air support doctrine, which allows us recon and a bunch of other airstrikes. Move my Panzer IV to help him out, even though he has a pack here. Again, through the multiple, buildings, stuff like that, it can be very hard to take a unit. Luckily, my Panzer IV can navigate it with ease and easily take out the Centaur. The Centaur is great against infantry, but not so much against armor. So right now they have a bunch of really heavy, well-equipped mortars, but luckily we're getting out some more heavy armor to deal with that threat. Also, Panzerwerfer. That being said, they do have this thing, a 17-pounder, which essentially negates any armor at that point. Unfortunately, though, they are not using this at their full potential. If they wanted to, they would put down a forward operation base, I would say around here. That way, all of these points can get the boost, and that allows them, of course, to, have that ability active, which again, fire faster. Plus to this thing, what again, as you can see here, rate of fire, rotation rate, and flare accessibility if they would have that forward HQ base. But of course they're not, because again, they want to keep trying to push forward. They do have a Jackson here, and that, of course, is bad because, again, that can snipe these positions. I do have a Kenworth moving up, and my Panzer forces are trying to help out. That being said, with these AT forces, I have to move back my units. But luckily, my brother's there with an MG to suppress them and help me escape. In the meantime, I'm going to make myself a mechanized base. That way, of course, I can make sure that I can heal my armor and ally armor, because that's one thing we are, unfortunately, having issue with. Luckily, my brother is dropping fuel. A part of this doctrine, you can drop fuel or munition points, and it's quite a lot of fuel. Or munitions, whatever the case. And again, since this is a fuel point, there's fuel being dropped. Unfortunately, they're bringing in more just random stuff, more infantry, which is a bad thing, of course. They're doing another push. Luckily, again, this headquarters is over here, but if they do a time on target or something like that, it could be very detrimental for us. But at least we're keeping the fight, and we're keeping them from pushing up. So really, it's just a consistent battle over these 2 points. And while they have the better infantry, I say we're still doing a pretty good job holding them back. They do neutralize this for Kenworth, but they do something really, really smart. So anyway, as you can see here, they call in this strafing support. Now, while my headquarters is busy shooting that down, they're going to focus fire on everything around it. So it's actually a really, I don't know if this was real, but the first directive of this thing is to attack air vehicles, typically. And then you'll fire at that which will allow the infantry to move up. Now, if they would have continued, maybe deploy smoke around here and allow them to maybe plant some charges or something like that. I don't know, the Jackson direct fire. It could have been very deadly. However, of course, they wasted that opportunity. They allowed this thing to start firing at the infantry, which allows them to suppress. Without the infantry support, the tanks are able to move up and push back the Jackson. So that was pretty good for us. Now I'm going to neutralize this captain, try to get this out of the way. Luckily, the MG supporting. They do have a quote-unquote machine gun in this house, but we were able to neutralize that point immediately. So that's pretty good for us. Tank killer's moving up his men. Luckily, he stole some equipment. And also, as you can see here, he has a Panther, which was able to push back this Centaur. Again, I feel like this was a bad move. I feel like, again, now they're quitting because they're like, oh, this sucks. We're not getting any way. But like I said, they focused on anti-infantry tactics with mortars and artillery and centaurs, and they didn't focus on the advancing armor, which you have to worry about along the 15-minute marker and forward. When your player's just effed, right? So anyway, of course, they're just like, oh, we're freaking out right now because one of their allies quit. Again, it's not Brick Boy, who has all the mortars over here. We are calling in our own artillery to knock out their positions. How, you might ask? Well, it's very simple. How do you deal with artillery? You get artillery. So luckily, Tank Killer, it has his own artillery piece, which is currently firing upon the enemy position. Again, this thing has some really nice range, and as you can see, you can fire pretty far. And since they're kind of did the really dumb move of just putting all their units and stuff so close together, our artillery, long-range heavy artillery, will easily pick out to their emplacements. Again, that range is superior to whatever these mortars can do. These mortars are good for, I would say, medium range, while that is good at long range. They could always fortify, and they could always counter by a direct airstrike, which they do have the ability for, as you can see, with a concentrated fire operation. Or you could always do a time on target, which they could. Before you say they don't have recon, they do. This guy has recon. And by the way, both of them are still in the game. So honestly, they could do that if they were working together. However, of course, besides a few small operations, they don't really have the tendency to cooperate other than just cooperate in spamming the text chat, which of course we will need. We will, like, anytime someone talks on speaking chat, we're being like, oh, you guys suck, blah, blah, blah. We're like, yeah, don't even think about it, bud. Now, as you can see here, there's, some things coming down. What is that per se? That's my breakthrough ability, which is calling down assault artillery on a bunch of key locations, since they want to fortify all around this point, which allows my artillery to happen, which allows them to pretty much be susceptible to my assault artillery, which is called down at that point, calling down artillery and eventually smoke. Once again, the man doing his tactics, running around circles to avoid the mortars still coming down everywhere. We'll do a nice recon plane. And of course, we do realize that they have a Calliope now, which is actually starting to cause damage. Calliopes are very good artillery units. That's a really good counter to our support guns. unfortunately knocking out Red Man's artillery. Luckily, I still have a couple of mine on station to help counter, along with a few troops. We also still have a 3-star MG, which will help, again, stop any advance by their infantry take that sector. But like I said, they're still focusing on one key location, which is their downfall. This will be their point of contention. Yeah. That was a comment. I did that because, again, I was tired of it. Luckily, a nice airstrike and stuff knocks out their priest. So again, thank you 151 for your awesome airstrike and close air support anti-tank strafe, which again does wonders. Can you please explain the insult? I said that because again, their whole comment about the mom thing that they kept repeating throughout the game. I was like, well, you know, you can go do it since, you know, we keep taking out your units, and if you're going to spam on chat, I will as well. Typically, I do not, but of course, if the enemy continues to, then I will. We have an armored car that's pretty good against infantry, actually. Luckily, again, enough AT forces, even though this thing, has got pseudo, proto-Panzer IV. Luckily, we have enough ATVs. They neutralize it. They move up a Jackson, we move up a Panther. Now, you may be wondering, oh, look, what took that out? I have a YAG. That was an awesome shot. I didn't mean to show that, but whatever. My YAG fires long range, hitting any target I see fit, that's vehicle or fortification, which will allow us to pretty much break through the British fortifications they've set up. The YAG Tiger is the perfect counter to it because of its immense range. The antithesis to the counter of this thing is infantry. But, of course, since they've pretty much neglected that and are now focusing entirely on armor now, we pretty much have won the game because of the fact they've switched up their tactics so much they can no longer deal with our just normal unit. Luckily, again, with special operations, you get STG-44s, so the Austrians pretty much become one of the most powerful infantry in the game, dominating everything that they do. I believe that's, yeah, Calliope fire coming in. Well, of course, I think this is my brother. No, it's Red Man, sorry, the Command Panther, of course. He quits because he realizes all his fortifications are doomed. As we can see here, Red Man came in for the flank. Once again, hitting from multiple angles, which you should honestly do. Don't hit an opponent from one angle. My brother's airstrike helps neutralize all their fortifications. And now it's time to clean house. We do have a couple forces over here with some priests. My brother, Red Man's gonna push up over here, neutralize whatever he can. My brother as well, calling them out for their kind of BS. They're firing one last Calliope barrage, but unfortunately, well, their Calliope is gonna face the dust. Unfortunately, we did lose a Panther from all their AT forces. Lose a Panther from their AT forces, but luckily the Panther will neutralize them. And now we have, of course, artillery coming down. They called down their own artillery, which is kind of weird, but that's fine. Not sure why. They knocked out their other Calliope. He's just running over his men because it's so cool. It's like, oh my god. Why even do that? I don't know. Unfortunately, the Pathfinder is not helping us pretty well. But luckily, again, he accidentally ran over half of the men, which I will say is a pretty astonishing accomplishment. So nice job, Red Man, for your accident. They're getting a lot of AT forces trying to hold. We have artillery fire coming in from his native base, trying to hold back the incoming assault. But essentially, we've pushed them back all the way to their base, which is a victory upon itself. With so few forces and nothing else, we can easily overwhelm them and take them out. Also, as you can see, this artillery, 11 kills, but as long as it keeps ranking up, eventually it will keep firing and possibly rank itself up to have the ability to maybe start pounding the outside of this base or even inside the base with its increased range. I think it's increased by 33% if I'm not wrong. My brother is currently dropping in more munition points so we can continue the air raids, which, by the way, I see this as better. Yeah, this is what I say. So, again, I am always the person being like, hey, maybe start out by good luck, have fun, stuff like that. And these guys, of course, are continuing the internet philosophy that's also, that GTA says is a routine, but I disagree. That you must, of course, say, of course, that the enemy is terrible. But of course, you know, since they gave us the fuel for the fire to neutralize them, of course we are going to do everything in our power to take these guys out. Really? You're going to complain about your partners? Your partners that were pretty higher ranked than you? And pretty much you told to go fortifications and allowed and were causing us havoc throughout the entire game. You're gonna complain about them. And I like Redman. I like Pudding. Fortunately, the Calliope is causing a lot of damage. I'll lose a few more men from that barrage. But like I said, they're pushed essentially back to their base, and there's no way they can grab more stars, so we have essentially won the game. I also like TK is like, yeah, let's put another artillery piece. Honestly, I'd put it here so it could hit the base, but whatever. AI was better. Try to knock out this unit in the meantime. Luckily, I think my brother would call in a bomb of some type. I think either that or they called in a strafing support, which I don't know. Wait, was that? I guess no, that wasn't even the AI. I don't know why you would call that in, because again, the plane is strafing support. The plane itself, the one, there we go. Here we go. This one was only good against strafing against infantry, not against armor. It doesn't have rockets on it. But that's just me. They did bring out a Cromwell, which again, I think it's too little too late. They should have probably saved it for a Comet, and once one person got a Centaur, they really should have focused on everyone else getting different units. But if you keep getting anti-infantry focused equipment, the Calliopes, the Centaurs, the mortars, the howitzers, etc., we're going to counter that with what we have. Better armor, armor that's good against fortifications, and of course, and most importantly, just better infantry. So yeah, good game. In any case, the best person on their team was Britboy with 18,000 damage, or nearly 19,000. Again, I would assume because of the mortars, and 85 kills. The worst person with R4. I'm assuming, again, the guy up north. Yeah, that my brother was versing. He did okay. Funny, he did the worst, even though he had a really good rank. I did sort of okay. Redman got a better score than me by both slightly better damage and definitely better kills. Honestly, my brother didn't get that much damage. Neither did TK, because they're pretty much out of the fight. They were kind of just the flanks, but they did help us out, hitting them. Again, kind of circling around and hitting the enemy from its sides. Again, since our flanks were secure, even though they did have mid, we just kept pounding them until there was nothing left. So yeah, that's why you want to definitely move out. You can't just have one single location. Since we had two major locations and we could flank them, not the other way around, we did better overall. Unfortunately, Redman and I did get a lot of, unfortunately, units killed. Look at that. Tank killer, 23 units lost. That's pretty good. Even though he did send a lot of units to their death, he did keep a lot of them alive. But yeah, he was able to keep them pretty much okay. My brother, of course, and my brother, again, with his close air support, did help us out with, again, dropping fuel and other resources for us to use. So, again, really helpful, really helpful. But, again, that's game. I want to thank you guys for watching. Really hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.